So finding a comfortable seat. I am in Sukhasana, easy seat. You can be cross-legged. I'm also propped up on just a folded blanket or anything that you can use to elevate your hips. We're going to start with our hands and palms facing down on our knees or our thighs. Trying to find a tall seat. And let the shoulders relax down. Maybe you don't notice that they are way up here. Close the eyes. And just start to arrive. Notice how you feel or anything in your body trying to grab your attention. Notice how your breath feels. If it is shallow, if it is uneven, trying to notice that inhale and exhale, where you feel it in your body. And just noticing it in through the nostrils and out through the nostrils or the mouth. We're not trying to control it, just having that awareness of the breath. Resisting any urge to fidget or move. Just your mind tries to pull away, try to bring it back to that natural rhythm of the breath. Let go of anything that happened earlier in the day, anything that may be happening in the space or outside of your space. Any to-do lists. You can put that down for now and return to it after practice. We'll start with a mudra. Mudra is a hand position that evokes different energies, different attributes, and or sensations in the body. We'll be taking our left hand and gently cupping it. Nothing is ever forced, or again, we're not trying to grip anything. So the left hand slightly cupped with the fingers facing up. You're going to take the right hand and place that right over it, so the right fingers rest on the, and there's kind of that hollow space in between. You're still having the shoulders relaxed and the eyes closed, and holding this about in line with your navel. This is the gesture of the treasure chest for cultivating that truthfulness, satya. It refers to the truthfulness in all of our communication. But we must first develop the ability to discern what truth is. And that's where the practice comes in. Being authentic to our being beyond our personalities and our emotions and our thoughts. So we're able to listen to the voice of our true being. So our words may reflect what we believe without that lens of that conditioning. And this weaves with ahimsa, which again means nonviolence, by speaking not only which is true, but also which does not cause harm to or suffering to ourselves or others. So this treasure chest that we've created, this mudra awakens us to the treasure of our true being, which we all try to access. And we can be awakened through that with our practice. So taking a few moments to notice if this is bringing anything up for you, what truthfulness may mean to you before diving deeper, that resonate with you. And don't mind my creatures walking around me and causing noise and distraction. Maybe you can hear your breath rush in through the nose and out through the nose or the mouth. Maybe you can visualize it in and down past the throat, down into the lungs, into the diaphragm, and then out. This also refers to the throat chakra, which is the chakra related to speaking our truth, communicating clearly. This may balance that throat chakra if it's over or underbalanced in an energetic way. And just invite your awareness inward, listening to yourself, listening to what comes up, listening to your body, letting that be your intention for practice. We'll start off, still hold this mudra, but starting off with a shared breath. Take a deep inhale in through the nose and exhale out the mouth. Slowly release that mudra, taking a moment to notice any shifts. You may open the eyes, coming back to the space. We will set up for our first posture. We'll do this twice on each side. It does not matter what side you start with. I'm gonna try my best. My cat Link is now in the way. So, whatever you're using as a cushion, you're going to place that across the mat. You can have something as a pillow above it, and then you can take anything in between the legs. You can have the knees stacked or kind of straight out and stacked, whatever feels comfortable, you'll know when you lay down. And you're going to take this um, side stretch by bringing yourself over that support. So it opens this side, side in facing the room, opening that rib cage with the breath while you hold this pose. Again, the legs can be however is comfortable. And laying your side of the head on any support. Maybe you can use a block or a blanket over a block or a pillow. And then with the arms, you can bring them together like this. Palms together, elbows together, forearms together, kind of making 90-degree angles. You may feel that more in between the shoulder blades. If that's too much of a stretch, you can take another blanket and place that in between the arms, and that will lessen that stretch in the back of the heart. Finding what is comfortable, taking that time to find a position you can hold and find stillness in. You should still be able to breathe, nothing should hurt. Letting the props hold you up so you can let go of that effort of holding yourself up. Let gravity let you get heavier and heavier. You also have the option to reach that top arm up and over, maybe resting it on a pet or whatever in front of you, to kind of find also a lateral stretch here. So you can explore what feels good, either in the back of the heart or the side of the body. You can rest that top arm on the side of the head and just rest it there. Allow yourself to be still and let go. When you hear my chimes, that is when we will switch positions, but that does not mean you need to hop up. Allow yourself to mindfully move. There's no rush in restorative. When you are still, you can allow yourself to release control, release any striving. You start to become aware of the present moment. Allow the breath to be slow and steady. That truth must come from the center of our unique essence and speaks to the moment of when you find that center. It asks us to live from a place where there is nothing to defend, nothing to manage. So trying to release that control, release what you may try to be getting out of this practice or the shape, trying to relinquish. Sometimes the truth isn't always pleasant, and that's what makes this practice hard. Listen to yourself and your thoughts. Meditation isn't necessarily a void of thoughts, but it's noticing what those thoughts are, noticing what's coming to the surface, and knowing what is serving you, what is not, knowing what is true, what is not. Slowly returning to the space. You had your arm overhead, bring that back. using your hands to slowly press yourself up. And you're going to simply turn to the other side and set up again, trying to mimic what you did on the first side. Using the same support that you used. I don't want to face my back to you, but it would be the opposite of what I just showed you. Taking the time to, again, set up and arrive in that shape. There's a lot of distractions happening, even in my space, sirens and my cats being in my living room. So imagine you can turn that volume down. See if you can turn it down so much that you can then hear the inner voice. That stillness is that direct path to that truth, to that healing. We can practice this theme of Satya in our practice, in our meditation practice, by observing and respecting that we all have gifts and strengths, along with limitations and weaknesses. We change moment to moment, practice to practice. Everything is in flux, everything changes, and that is reflected in the world currently. And that requires us to shed our past practices, maybe our old lives, and try not to achieve what was attained previously. And to not observe the future or think that the future has anything to do with the present moment. All we have is now. And know that where you are right now is exactly where you need to be. In the shape on your mat with these props, with this breath. We practice purely for the sake of creating that positive energy or flow or spirit, so we can have even more awareness of self and existence can occur. That mind body connection, that union, what the word yoga means, that union. Slowly arriving back, taking the time to bring movement back into the body, slowly pressing yourself up. You'll come up to a seat and then turn to be the length of your mat. And you have the choice to take the legs straight in front of you or bring them a little bit wider. This depends on how your hamstrings feel. They may be tight if you've been maybe a bit stagnant lately. If you decide to bring them straight, maybe you take a rolled up blanket and have that underneath the knees. That will keep the knees bent and take the stretch out of the hamstrings and more maybe in the low back. If you bring them wide, you'd bring maybe that cushion or that bolster in between the legs and any support that you need underneath to bring that support even closer. You may bring the legs so wide that you don't need that support and you can fold, finding that cushion. But we're not trying to get that fullest, deepest stretch. We're trying to, again, find a place that we can rest comfortably. Okay. If you have the legs straight, sorry to demo this one more time. You can have that support along the legs. You can use anything to bring that closer so you don't have to fold as far and let the head hang, finding that your forehead can rest on something. So explore what feels best for the legs. I'm also propped up on a blanket. Again, being true to you, be authentic to you and your body. And if you can find that support, maybe it's just the forehead that makes that connection, or bringing a cheek. Arms can be relaxed. And again, you're letting go of any effort. That's the job of the props on the ground and later the wall. With your torso pressing against that support, feel the breath fill the side body and the back body. First, in the first shake, we felt it open and create space in the side body. If you're using the cheek, I will tell you when to turn your gaze the opposite way, so feel free to settle in. Still keeping that breath nice and slow. Maybe that visualization of the breath flowing in and out of the body, or that sound of the breath. If you haven't already, turn your gaze the opposite way. Slowly coming up to a seat. If you have the legs wide, you can take the hands underneath the knees to bring them up. Feel free to windshield wiper them side to side. We'll make our way to our back. Feel free to have something underneath the head. And having a cushion or block nearby for underneath the hips for supported bridge. But before we set that up, knock the knees together, bring the feet to the edges of the mat, resting one hand on the heart, one on the belly, coming into contracted rest, arms are relaxed. Coming back to the breath. Just take a moment of stillness here. Maybe you can feel your heartbeat or your pulse, the movements of your breath. How does the temperature of the air feel on your skin, or the texture of the ground, the weight of your body? With your eyes closed, can you see colors or shapes? Can you taste anything lingering in the mouth and the tongue? Feel free now to bring the feet about hip width, bringing the knees further away from each other. And you'll press into the feet to lift the hips up and taking that support underneath, coming into supported grip. I prefer a cushion for something hard and restorative because it's more relaxing. And your choice to keep the knees bent just like this, feet flat on the ground, or extending the legs long, coming to the heels. The legs can relax so the toes may kind of open up to the sides. Arms relaxed or resting on you. And again, letting yourself get heavy. If you have blankets, maybe you place them over the waist, kind of in lieu of a weighted blanket. And letting yourself get heavy and still. Rather than solely practicing or focusing on the physical body, we allow those questions to come up to the surface, things that maybe we've been dwelling on or trying to get an answer, or we push down so we don't have to deal with it, which is very common. Allow that inner voice to come up to the surface. We can move from the limitations of the physical body, the physical self, the ego, to observing ourselves from a new lens when we let that go or be authentic to ourselves. Satya may also be kind of that inner gaze, that inner lens, letting it be a tool to not send judgments or burdening expectations inwards or even outwards to others. If you had your legs extended up long, bend the knees to bring the feet back to the mat. You're going to allow yourself to lift the hips up, remove that support, bring the hips back down, and I'm going to have the bolster to my left side. Actually, take that back, my right side so you can see. I'm going to roll to my left side so the bolster is behind my back, but it's not past my shoulder blades. There's still a blanket underneath my head. And then I'm going to bend my knees so they make 90 degrees. This bolster is behind me. So you're going to start lying on your left side and then open up to the right. So we're coming into this twist. And this bolster, if you can kind of wedge it behind you, should support you and you can hold this twist. And it's more of a twist in the thoracic, the middle of the spine, than lumbar, which we tend to do twist from a lot. So starting on the left side, anything you want underneath the head, and then reach that right arm up and over back to the right. And the gaze can be to the right if that's comfortable. Left arm, you can make it T with the arms. And if you're having trouble keeping those knees stacked, you can even kind of hook the ankles or the feet, and that will keep them together. And this should feel comfortable making any adjustments if it's not. To open up through the front of the chest. Maybe you feel a stretch in the shoulder, into the arm. And again, middle of the back. move out of the shape, you're going to take that right arm back, coming back to your left side, taking that support that you were using, taking that from behind you, taking it to the other side, and then simply rolling to the right side and sitting up once more. So taking that support, wedging it behind you, making sure there's room for you to open up to the left. You can bring the knees to 90 degrees, hook the ankles if you need. And when you're ready, opening up to the left. You can hold the knees if you need, or bring the arms out to a T. Gaze can be wherever feels comfortable. I've given a lot of options to even out the throat, to open up the throat, where that throat chakra lies, where Satya comes from. One more time that you practice, you can get more attuned with your inner voice, the voice of your authentic being. And again, that reminder that all the 8 limbs work together harmoniously, and it's essential to always start with ahimsa and weave that into Satya first and foremost, to be mindful that what we say is non-harming, what we say is compassionate and true and clear. So we can catch more and more glimpses of our true self with more practice, with more work of that self-study. And slowly rolling back to your side. taking your time. And then my suggestion for Shavasana for final rest is coming 2 legs up the wall. You can do that with support underneath the hips, something underneath the head and the shoulders, or you can do that without any support. The higher your hips are, if they are higher than your heart, it becomes a gentle inversion. But what is comfortable for you? If you choose to do that, it's easier if you come to the wall from the side and then walk your legs up. You can also rest in supported Shavasana with the support underneath the knees and lying on your back. Choosing what is true to you in your practice today. Allowing yourself to find complete stillness, effortless surrender. And taking in your practice. And I found this poem that speaks very true to Satya. I go into hiding when I know facing you will ultimately open a can of worms that can't be easily closed without making a huge mess first. So you bide your time, knowing that eventually I will reach my breaking point, where I can no longer ignore you. You visit me in the quiet moments, whispering familiar thoughts and ideas, echoing heart-won realizations, showing me the contrast of then versus now. Am I happy? Who have I become? Tears. Tears of recognition, tears of confirmation, tears of surrender. I let you in, I let you close. It's time for examination. You show me my pitfalls, the traps I become ensnared in. Then you reflect back to me all that should be treasured and kept safe. You remind me of my strength. You show me my power. Recall my many personal victories and all the fierce grace it took me to become who I am. Gratitude for all the wisdom gleaned on my journey. You lead me back to the light, my light. May I never snuff it out again. Slowly start to bring your awareness back to the space, to your body and your breath. Bringing movement back into your fingers and toes. If your legs were up the wall, slowly start to bring the legs down. Bring the knees in toward the chest to roll to one side. Taking a moment to just notice how you feel. And giving yourself gratitude for coming to your mat and tuning in to yourself. And when you're ready, slowly pressing yourself up to a seat. And bringing your hands to heart center and onto the mudra, prayer position. May you be blessed with a clear and compassionate heart to fully experience Satya. May your thoughts, words, and actions align so you may realize truth. We'll seal our practice with a shared breath. Take a deep inhale in and out. Thank you for practicing with me, with Matur Yoga, and everyone else that tuned in. From my heart to yours, namaste.